ways I don't understand. I know, Lord, I know it's in my heart and baby down in my soul. You, baby, you can't take it no more. No, I know I'm walking out that door the way you treated me too many times before. Don't you know you love me, baby, too? Oh, you know I want you there, I wanna be right there with you. I know I gotta keep you by my side till the day I die. 'Cause baby, ecstasy is in my hand. Oh, when I'm holding yours in mine and walking in the sand. Oh, baby, you know it's fine. Oh, now you done and pissed me off. You ain't done something you shouldn't have done. Baby, I'm mad. I'm going on. Oh, I'm going on.
Alright, howdy folks, and welcome back to the Lost Begotten fake TV channel of science and blah blah blah. I am your host, blah 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 blah. And tonight I am running a little bit behind, not too far behind. I was almost on time. And oh look, the webcam just gets fuzzier and fuzzier, doesn't it? So I am joined by my friend Brian, who's off in the corner just kind of staring at me, making me feel uncomfortable. Say hi, Brian.
Hi.
Yeah, if you're going to stand it, no, come on, speak up, speak up.
Yeah.
Hi. You
Hi.
got to actually speak to where you can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But Brian doesn't like cigarettes, folks. I'm gonna try to blow the cigarettes that way. Anyways, he came visit us from New Orleans. So live from not New Orleans. It is not Saturday night.
Right.
And we are going to not be talking about the same shit we were earlier. I have I have just deleted that one, haven't I? Shit. Well, I just saved on top of it, so now all I do is refresh it. And there it goes. Well, I guess I'll never know what we talked about earlier today. I take the little JPEG, that's a JPEG over there, and I just slide it into a folder at the end of every day. You can always get her to put it on in there, and you can harass me in the comments.
Yeah.
Or you could do it on your phone. Put it on your phone.
Well, my phone's in there. That's where the list smoke is. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's what I'm saying. You look rather uncomfortable. He's like, cigarette smoke. I want to see how he does it, though. All right. So, anyways, I had to squeeze in the little USS Gerald R. Ford thing over there. And, howdy, Maximo, and welcome to Sean Culbertson, if that is your real name twice. Yes, I have to tease anybody who presents themselves as teaseworthy. Because, well, let's face it, chances are you're a bot anyways. Chances are I'm a bot. I could just be a bot right now. Sorry, that was horrible. I apologize. I can actually do a much better robot than that. Just not sitting in a chair that goes back like this and, you know. Oh, so maybe you are hacked by bots. So that would be perfectly understandable. And welcome to the club. You'll find many people there willing to give you much advice on and consolation, sympathy, that kind of thing on being, you know, someone who's actually aware of things and thus is constantly fucking attacked by weird glitchy shit. And that would be thanks to our, you know, little Russian friends here. So anyway. Ooh, look at that. I made a little more room. Oh, it's Lacey's husband. Yeah. Well, welcome, sir. And if you don't mind my asking, how'd the hunt go? Weren't you a prospecting? We've been hoping for you around here. I'm sure Maximo and everybody else has too. So, anyways, so had to use my fancy graphics program known as MS Paint to squeeze in the 4 aircraft carriers now within striking distance, possibly within striking distance, but at least doing exercises in the region of North Korea. And had to leave in the little green Manchurians thing because it looks pretty Russian to me. You know, I have spent the past 3 years tracking Russian equipment entering Ukraine. You know, well before the channel, and that would be easily to trace. And you know, for anybody who's interested in researching the story as it unfolded, you can find the Facebook group Support Ukraine USA UK and AUS, AUS, meaning Australia, not Austria. Yeah. Anyways, which would normally be just said Oz. And if Neville's in here, Aussie, 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 should be, you know, roughly lunchtime for him. I wonder if I'll ever make it back to Australia in this lifetime. Man, I fucking miss the place. So anyways, I have an entire thing I wrote down this morning after waking up before 5 a.m. and basically forgot all about it on the 2-hour broadcast earlier today. So I suppose I'll get to that. And I'm going to save the revisit of the little green Manchurians. And yeah, I'm going to save that for later. And also earlier, on the on the camera that I can't get the reach over this far. The freaking this thing camera. Oh look, dirty clothes or clean clothes, wife's clothes. Yeah, you have to cover them with the freaking blanket. I'm gonna do that now while you don't look. Look, see, you can't see. In fact, I can actually vouch for those clothes being clean right now because I washed many of them. So, because I are a good husband. So now we have the aesthetically pleasing backdrop, kinda. Anyways, moving on. So, what was I doing? Oh yes, showing you the vacuum cleaner of science. I mean, no, video camera plugged in and waiting for me to get to the fucking upload thing so I can show you what's on it instead of just showing you the camera. But I don't know why I feel the need to show you that I'm plugging it in, because I can just do screen share. Oh yes, we can do screen share. How about that? And now you can see what I see. Okay. Sorry. Don't worry. I already stopped. So now we're going to look into the camera of science. And not that folder. We're going to look in the dates and stuff. And all right. So as I have shown before, on this particular desktop, this is how I archive my stuff and my shenanigans and whatnot. So I'm going to create a new folder here with the name of that folder there, 04, the 15th. Yep, it's the 15th. It's today. And now I'm going to take this file here and drag it into there. And now I'm going to show this window on the desktop instead of the desktop. Oh look, my studio is showing. Eek! Alright, so there we have the freshly picked file from the file tree. I mean, whatever. And now I'm going to drop it into here. No, wait, I have to use it over here. Okay. Alright. I'm going to let you see. You've seen that. Alright, now I'm going to see. There's the corner of the thing. Okay. Now, you can see me drop it into the thing. And here it is. Woohoo. Okay. Apparently, I just went right into the UFO thing. Alright, what the fuck? Did you turn the light on? I didn't think the light was on. Get it. Stop evading me, you bastard. Hello. What the fuck is that? Thing is really quiet, whatever it is. Okay, I got it. Fucking shit. Where'd he go? What was it? What did that look like to you? I couldn't even fucking see it because I was so busy. Okay, so the audio and video quickly out of sync. I'm gonna, I guess, play it one time through in the small frame. Hello, lovely. Alright, what the fuck? Did she turn the light on? I didn't think the light was on. Can't get it. Stop evading me, you bastard. Hello. What the fuck is that? Thing is really quiet, whatever it is. Okay, I got it. Fucking shit. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Alright, so now bigger screen, and I'm gonna mute the sound as quickly as I can so it doesn't lag the video, and maybe I'll try to play with the video to make it brighter. Hello, lovely. Okay, so it wasn't orb-like. I can't really define the structure in my head in a way that I could draw it. And it was very hard to make out because of the lights, but there were like multiple different lights within each of these lights right here. And it was like this small little light that was making that flash within the light on the right, the red light. And you could see like the lens of the lights, like you could see the smaller lights flashing when they went off. I really wish I could just get the fucking structure of it. Yeah, and I didn't get it when it was turned around. A lot of spirit energy out there. See all the orbs racing around at the level up there? Really? No structure? Come on. Not. Nah. I came so close to focusing on it right there. I should have turned off the autofocus and just put it on fucking infinity like I do for watching traffic, but it was like spur of the moment. I yelled into the house, "Give me the Sony Handycam!" So yeah, just the fact that it's so freaking quiet. Like, okay, I'll put it back small again so we can try to hear it. Turn up the volumes. Sorry. Hello, lovely. Alright, what the fuck? Did she turn the light on? I didn't think the light was on. Can't get it. That's a directional microphone. Baiting me, you bastard. Hello. What the fuck is that? Thing is really quiet, whatever it is. Okay, I got it. Fucking shit. Where'd he go? Ah! What was it? What did that look like to you? I couldn't even fucking see it because I was so busy. So, all I could hear was the fucking crickets. I had my microphone on mute and I had the volume turned way the hell up on my gigantic Altec Lansing subwoofer system. Outside, it sounded like, if I compare it to something mechanical on the ground. It certainly sounded like it had mufflers, not very high powered, possibly two-stroke, but it was really, really low and going. I mean, you saw how slow it was going. That was ridiculously slow. And I can't understand how little noise it was making unless that was something, taking pictures of little old me. So anyways, could just be considering how much we've been talking about Gabriel the past few days. could be him just coming by to fuck with me. He does that, you know. Wouldn't be the first time we've got that on camera. So, Russian tanks in a Georgia prison. You're gonna have to explain that one to me, man. Why would Russia? Is that a joke premise? Why would Russian tanks be in a Georgia prison? Nope, I can't think of a punchline. Now, Georgia the state or Georgia the country? Georgia the country, I could make a few guesses. But them being in a prison, yeah, still seems kind of hard to answer. Russian tanks in a prison in Georgia in 2010. Like what? Like, please elaborate. I really want to know, and type in small sentences so you don't get cut. You know, as much as you can. It seems a little bit perplexing as to why. Why that would be the case. Now, Blackwater is an NGO, not an American defense contractor. Blackwater has Russian personnel. So you could have actually, maybe a private prison might have contracted Blackwater for riot control. I don't see how that's legal, but, you know, in a Republican state, depends on what your definition of is. And how do you know that they were Russian tanks? What markings, or like, you know, what what model were they? If you can recognize Russian tank models, were they APCs or were they tanks? Like, did it have treads or did it have four wheels on each side like that? That's a Russian APC right there. And somehow I knew we'd be needing that image again. Ah. Well, more than likely, I would think it was private security, but you know, Russians like to fuck with people. But let's see. As of 2010, we weren't actually at any hostilities with Russia. We had troops being transferred through Russia, and striker vehicles, paladin artillery, mechanized artillery, and Abrams tanks, all on trains, slowly chugging it through Russia all the way to Europe, back to Germany, unloading in Poland, and then the trucks to Germany, as far as I know. But in 2010, it's really interesting. I could see Blackwater doing it, but like I haven't heard of any stationing of Russian troops on American soil. Okay, because they're not and were never NATO members. Understand? But what's interesting to me is Georgia's history with the Ku Klux Klan, and Ku Klux Klan being related to the very brand of Babylonian Freemasonry that seems to be the Kabbalic root of all of the false religions that get spread by whatever kingdom this is in the north. And Georgia is named for Georgia. I mean, it should be Nova Georgia. New Georgia. Because there's already a country called Georgia. And as I've discussed on previous videos, it's named for the Gregorian king, or the Georgian kings, who considered themselves descendant of the gods through Medusa. Anyways. And actually many other Gorgonians. Medusa was just one of many Gorgonians. And the Gorgonian is like the root of the word Georgian. And the namesake George was taken from basically the members of this cult who would take power would call themselves George. And you can look back at all the different Georges. None of them were born George. Well, very few of them were born George. And if they were named George, take an interesting look at their mother. Anyway, but that's for people who have time to go through, royal house lineages and shit like that. But the connection is there. As far as the settlements go and the secret societies go. And, well, I suppose this would be relevant just to kind of explain how far back the connection goes and what kinds of little issues it has caused in the past. But of course I got to dig through a folder to find it, so give me a second. How do I not have it there? Jeez. There we go. That'll work. That's good enough. So, it looks like a rebel flag, doesn't it? You know what that symbol is? It's the St. George cross. also known as the Orion cross or the Aryan cross. And there's been a lot of controversy about whether or not it should be included in the Union Jack over the years, over the centuries, in fact. And of course, as you know, it wound up being the historic and propaganda symbol of the white supremacist movement and the Southern Rebellion. And the Southern Rebellion, back in the 1800s, got help. And, well, who are we to think we know who they got help from? You know, do you know for certain? Were you there? Were those historians that say it was, wait, who do they say it was? Napoleon? Was it Napoleon? Was Napoleon just the Hitler from 100 years before? A dictator who got a whole lot of help from a big empire to the east, at the time known as Prussia? Because, man, let me tell you, what little swath of land we now know today as Prussia is, at the time, a very large contributor to Napoleon's defeat. And it seemed as though, you know, like as if history were repeating itself. The Prussians had this big old army, and they just held back for quite some time and just chose when they would just overwhelmingly crush Napoleon. They kind of feigned a defeat in the beginning, it seems. It's funny, I know a certain German dictator whose pattern kind of imitated that 100 years before, and I've been saying for a couple of years now that the 100 years is about up for us. And now while we have all these carriers steaming towards North Korea, Russian troops have now gone to reinforce it. And since apparently you didn't get to see the broadcast from earlier, let me just show you a couple little samples if I can find the ones that I already resized. Where's the ones that I already resized? Okay, so here is the Russian missile trucks. I mean, not the Russian, excuse me, the North Korean missile trucks. Ooh, yes. From the parade, what was that? That was today, right? Yep, earlier today. And here is a video of the top 5 off-road military vehicles that I took some still shots from. And let me see if I can get some of those to load right quick. If any of them are small enough. No, I didn't make them small enough, did I? Okay, I'll edit one and make it small enough so we can see it. Effort, jeez. Do people know I'm a Capricorn? Anyway. Alright, so there's that one. And this truck, referred to as the MZKT series, is available in many configurations. And what it looks to me like is that the ones that were used in the St. George parade are the ones that are used, are the ones that they gave to Korea. Because they have sort of this external body kit type thing going on. And if you want a more detailed look at that, go watch the broadcast from earlier. I'm not going to rehash the entire thing because I've already deleted the slideshows. One thing I forgot to cover, which backs up a point that I made earlier about usually the missiles in the parades are fake. What the hell is that? Like, does anybody else see that? Like, on the end of the cone of the missile side booster, whatever. Is that like the world's crappiest weld, or what the fuck is supposed to be going on with that? Like what is that supposed to be, anyways? Like I don't even get how that functions. And they claim to have some new submarine-based thing. Yeah. So that's funny. Anytime Korea says that they develop something, it's basically hilarious. But recently they've managed to come up with a lot of very interesting equipment and a lot of interesting new capabilities. And is that a Russian truck or a North Korean truck? I can't tell. Oh, wait. No, wait. That's the Russian truck. That's the North Korean truck. Oh, yeah. Wait, let me see if I can do a little better side by side here. There we go. And it's actually not as easy as counting the wheels. See, the front two wheels right there, and I think the four behind it are like the root assembly. And then like there's like a series of towing systems and trailers, and then there's different versions of this, like they come bigger for bigger missiles and smaller for smaller missiles or whatever. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These just happen to be, you know, looks like the same size missile, same number of wheels, and barring the external, and you know, I'm a car guy. I do body work. I do modifications on vehicles. It's pretty easy for me to see the same vehicle with a different body kit on it. That's what that looks like to me. Anyways. But like what I said earlier, that is not the limit of the evidence, because of your friend right there and this other guy on this other one, number 428 and 425, and 703 was interesting. 703 looks like a terrible beast. And these are all Russian weapon systems with Russian serial numbers on them. Actually, they come from probably Manchuria and Mongolia, which, you know, Russia invaded 100 years ago or so. you know, right before they took a bunch of planes and ships from the Japanese and then attacked Pearl Harbor. I mean, wait, it was our friends, the Japanese, who attacked us at Pearl Harbor, not the Russians who had just seized a bunch of Japanese ships and planes. Certainly not them. You know, I can see why the Japanese attacked us after we would promise them that we would send them aid and resupply and ammunition and food and everything. If they would only be able to keep up with their fight against the Russians, the evil, evil Russians. We told them we were coming to the rescue. So it just makes perfect sense that they attacked us. Roosevelt telegram. Two weeks before Pearl Harbor, they lost the Manchurian coast. A week before that, I think. That's how I'm remembering the timeline right now. I don't have time to research everything I think I might want to talk about before a video. But you can always go look up the facts yourself. I don't make dumbass conclusions about these things. Anyway, you know, there's all I'm saying is there's a reason why. What the news does is basically catch up to me slowly but surely, little by little. I mean, they have their uses. That they do the more diligent, detailed type stuff, whereas I point everybody in the right direction. And then, 3 days later, you get to see the details on Rachel Maddow. So anyways, I guess I will now get back to the magnificent, tiny, magical, mystical notebook of science and out of focus, blurry text. And first, I want to say I watched CNN. I think did the first 100 days of Ronald Reagan. Okay, so the first 100 days of the Ronald Reagan presidency, and it was very interesting. You see, Jimmy Carter had actually done a lot of stuff that never took effect until the Reagan years, and I should have gotten my thoughts together on that a little more, because there used to be a list of things that I could tell you about that, but I can't remember it right now. But one of them I now call into question because of the odd timing of it. So I watched a little speech clip of Ronald Reagan, the Gipper, where he said, "Government is the problem." He did that. He went gulp. The president, I mean, Shillaverse brainwashing aside, the whole rebellious nature of things that gets promoted in common music and media and movies and, coolness. Think of the implications of the president or a government official in general saying government, the abstract idea of government, is the problem. Not government oversight, not government waste, not government corruption, fucking government. You see, when I was 10 years old, I thought government was the problem too. And that's why I called myself an anarchist. Because I was I was a crazy person. I used to spray paint and break shit, steal, and gonna just stop with the details right there. Yeah. That's what an anarchist thinks. This whole teabagger movement, this whole far right movement, this has been a result of temptation on the part of rich Southern oil tycoon type elites and basically global oil ambitions. Now, okay. So we all know about the Rex Tillerson thing, and we all know about the Bush family's connection to oil companies. All right. Take what we know now about how interested the Soviet Union, Eurasian Union, whatever this guy's calling it these days, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Think about how much interest they take in our elections now, and how we've been learning how they've been kind of interested in our elections in the past, actually preferring Obama over Romney. Not colluding, but preferring Obama over Romney because Romney was a hawk on Russia. But go back to when there actually was a Soviet Union. Would they be more interested in interfering or less interested in interfering? Would they be willing to corrupt a large oil conglomerate and promote politicians through them? And say maybe because the actual executive types that they wanted to, through leverage, convinced that it would be okay, it would be perfectly patriotic, be perfectly legal for you, Mr. Herbert Walker, to, help ease tensions between us, help, end the Cold War, supposedly. Well, okay, so that government is the problem was said at Reagan's inauguration speech. And an hour later, after he gulped, after saying government is the problem, as if he knew he was delivering a line for someone else and understood the implications of it, but nonetheless delivered it, government is the problem. Go watch the clip if you want. I'm sure you won't have a problem finding it. The right-wingers are also proud of Reagan just for that one line alone. An hour, 1 hour later, one after he was inaugurated, the Iranians released the hostages. Interesting. So they were just so terrified of the actor that they released the hostages. So terrified of, because the Republicans are so much stronger on national security? Well, the Democrats just keep getting shot, Well, no. Too soon? Sorry. Perhaps it is an outside preference that has led us to believe that the Republicans are stronger on national security. Perhaps it is those who have more in common with them who are cooperating with them to usurp the will of the people. Just a matter of weeks later, John Hinckley fired, I believe it was 5 shots in about a second and a half, and wounded Ronald Reagan. Many people thought Ronald Reagan wouldn't make it. But the only motivation we were ever told about John Hinckley's, assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan is that he was obsessed with Jodie Foster. Well, we all love Jodie Foster, so we all cling to that. And, oh, he must have just been crazy. Or it's some kind of weird fucking play. Because the person who became acting president, and if Reagan would have perished, would have become president, eventually did become president, was George Herbert Walker Bush. So, government is the problem. Friends in oily places recently taken over by a communist overthrow suddenly decide, oh, we respect you, we fear you. No, we like this guy. And, with the Iran-Contra thing, we could see why they liked them so much. The only New World Order is the Horde. And it's been trying to take over since we escaped from it. Starting 400 years ago. So anyways. Why? Because Jodie Foster. That's why. The fuck? So anyways, Ronald Reagan was recovered by April 28th, 1981. And made his first State of the Union address, in which he became the Gipper that we all know and love, after many people doubting, his viability, and, whether or not he was going to survive, even whether or not he could reassume office. So all of that in his first 100 days, huh? Ain't that a bitch? But today we have the unestablished precedent, Trump. the illegitimate president, Drumpf, who says, China are currency manipulators, and when I take office, I will label them as currency manipulators. And now that he has taken office, he has said, China are not currency manipulators. Yeah, he said that. I had an interesting time today looking at the difference between CGTN, that's I'm not really sure what it stands for. Communist or Chinese Global Television Network, I guess. Chinese Global. Chinese, I'm guessing Chinese Global Television Network versus RT's coverage of the North Korean parade today. It really doesn't seem like China likes them very much, whereas RT was kind of flaunting in their clips the stuff that they had given them. Like those missile launchers and shit, for instance. Like, let me see here. One of these images had the RT logo in it. But I squished it, and now it's not there anymore. Damn. But anyways, this whole thing, this whole parade footage right here, that's from RT. RT's sitting there flaunting the stuff. RT is sending the message right now. You attack North Korea, we're in another proxy war at the very least. But I mean, bear in mind, we're also sending troops to Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and we've been doing exercises with the British and the French and the Germans and the Polish in Ukraine. So one has to ask the question, does war with North Korea equal war with Russia? Or is it like we've been told by the fucking lying, communist infiltrators in the fucking foreign correspondence bureaus at various news desks that China is the one behind North Korea? Well, again, go watch the broadcast from earlier where I show yet another example of how they present incomplete information to you to make you think that China is the primary ally of North Korea. Not, never has been, always been Russia. But one thing that isn't playing in our favor, which makes me wonder if maybe some Russians happen to be working United Airlines security, for instance. The Chinese media, social media, has blown up with the whole United Airlines guy that got forced off the plane. I mean, they are really pissed about it, and they are all saying he got kicked off the fucking plane because he's Chinese. So, when it comes to the Russian-esque horde tactic of spreading fake news or over amplifying sensational stories and getting people whipped into a frenzy, don't think any other country is excluded, especially not China. But China has, put itself between a rock and a hard place, literally. Condemning Russia's support of Assad, condemning Russia's support of North Korea. And what's interesting about the Assad thing, remember how I said I thought it was VX, nerve gas? Major Garrett on the little CNN clip today said the words nerve gas when talking about what many people have described as a ricin attack. Ricin, to the best of my knowledge, causes more pronounced foaming at the mouth, causes more skin discoloration, whereas nerve gas, people just seem to start dying. And that's what it looked like to me, was people just seem to start dying. And if you're wondering how I know this, it's because I know a lot of dead people. All of them. It's what I do, to quote Colonel O'Neill. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do. Yeah, that one. We'll roll with that. So anyways, back to the tiny notebook of science and all the little scribble scratches that I have on it. We saw Russian weapons on Russian trucks in Korea. We have the railroad being completed right as they're invading Ukraine. Then they decided to give them a shit ton of fire trucks, fresh, brand new Russian fire trucks, as if to help them out in the event of a bombing run. And now we have Russian-built weapons with probably just, we're racist, so we think they're Chinese, but they're from Russia. They're from Manchuria and Mongolia. There's a whole lot of Russian soldiers that have slanty eyes. Stupid white man. So anyways, I guess that is it for the notes. Oh. Except for I have no idea what that first thing, it looks like 3 pever. 3 pever. But the rest of it is the CIA too stupid to be they? Okay? Just think about the Shilliverse mentality. Going all the way back to, and I like to point this out over and over again, the X-Files. Remember how the X-Files got you thinking, the truth is out there kind of thing? I used to love the X-Files. But if I would have known that David Duchovny was from St. Petersburg, Russia, that David Duchovny could possibly be a fucking communist agent, I would have taken things a bit more with a grain of salt. They're trying to make you paranoid of the United States government. They did a mighty damn good job. A mighty, mighty, mighty good job of doing so. But then you have not only a verifiable, massive array of different ways that we have been led into paranoia against our government, our intelligence agencies. All the while, like Lewis Black said, I'm comfortable with my government lying to me. Why did they stop lying to me? Could it be that somebody else was lying to you about them, and that they have actually only played along with such lies so as to save face and seem more competent than they are? Like, for instance, failed to launch the first satellite, failed to have the first man into space. So we faked the moon landing. Was that a massive Big Brother thing? Or was that we kind of suck at this, so we're just going to wing it? Fake it till you make it. Did they ever really make it? Who knows? They built a plane that acted like a spaceship, and that seemed to win. But then you have things like the intelligence failure in Iraq, the intelligence failure leading up to the invasion of Crimea, the intelligence failures regarding the invasion of Ukraine, the intelligence failure regarding this fake election. Didn't know about all the collusion, didn't have all the investigations going on in time and wide enough scale and scope to convict people before they were, say, the party nominee, even though they were investigated for being in collusion with America's enemies and spreading enemy propaganda as far back as 2014, 2013. Anyways, so we've already done the UFO, and I guess I can do headlines tomorrow morning. I need to get back to my company and bid you adieu. Yes. So thanks for joining me, everybody. If you got any questions, go ahead and put them in now. I'll give it a second and wait. Obviously, my conclusion is that the CIA, at no point in time, I don't care how many $1,200 toilet seats and $400 hammers have helped fund their operations. Their operations have never been widespread or efficient enough to be effective against an ancient dynastic horde that has set up failsafe upon failsafe. Anyways, Carlos says, I wonder if communism is just a system of hate, not economics. Communism is a system of confusion. And that confusion uses hate in order to wield power. And the root of hatred in communism is what was warned about in the Bible. That's inequity. That's wanting what other people have. Wanting, the life that other people live. Wanting the land that other people have. Wanting everyone to share with you. And not respecting anybody's right to be more ambitious, to be more, diligent at learning a skill or marketing their ideas. I'm a fine example of someone who has a whole lot of skill and a whole lot of ideas. And I'm not going to, tell you my sob story on why none of them ever worked out. But the fact of the matter is, just because you have good ideas and good skills doesn't mean that you're going to be able to put that idea to market, to get the legal framework in place, to get a plan together to present to investors and blah, blah, blah. I'm only in my late 30s finally learning that, yes, this plan, I can't let this slip through my fingers. I have to get this all written down, drafted, typed up. And, if it was a communist thing, I would have to apply to the government to be able to do something. And they would have to decide whether or not it was in their advantage to do so. And if it's an oligarchy and you're trying to do something to help the environment, chances are they're not going to help you. If you're trying to do something to make vehicles more efficient and consume less of what they sell, chances are they're not going to help you. And, so on. It's not just hate of the West for their freedom. It's a hate of the West for having the idea that that, you know, like the power structure shouldn't be what determines people's lives. Our freedom isn't what the people get programmed to hate. It's what their leaders hate. And they fear the pure ideals of American society, not what's been corrupted, not what we have left, you know, but the good things about America. Those things scare the shit out of them. Because when those ideas get into the heads of the people controlled by the horde, you have things like the Maidan in Ukraine. And I can't stop staring at my wife's pretty hair. Hold up. I want to show you right quick. Sometimes I stare off that way, and I make a very deliberate point of making sure that everybody knows I'm not reading a prompter on this channel. So I'm going to show you what I was looking at. She did this crazy rainbow hair, like mix of different colors, from purple to pink to like orangish, kind of like a sunset, but like purple up here. Kind of gets brighter. And I made her flip her hair over. Well, she was flipping her hair over to straighten out some of the tangled curls. And I was like, ooh, that's pretty. So I took a picture. And of course, my finger got in the way because, you know, my hands don't work with little tiny devices. So anyways, yeah, I thought you might like that, Lacey. Lacey has heart on her eyes emoji, looking at the picture of your hair flipped over, baby. You want to come say hello before I end the broadcast? Sure. The Merface is coming. The Merface is coming.
Yeah. Stop keeping Joey calm talk, and Paige is not ready yet.
So, I showed them that picture.
Oh, with all the colors.
She makes this emoji, so I think she approves.
Yay.
All right. So, anyways.
Why Merface?
Because she has a face and she is Mer, so she is Merface.
And he has a face and he has Mer, so he is also Merface. And it works.
Mer is the universal pronoun for things that you love.
That's why when you see something cute, you go Mer.
Or like when you see somebody helping someone else, you go Mer.
Oh, the Mer. And if you're friend of Seth, you go, oh, the Mer. I'm kind of like,
somebody took my candy away. Mer.
Mer. Ow. Ow. Oh, those are my knees. No gunshots, knees.
Or, you know, if you're making a sandwich and you have frankincense.
Mer. But you have no Mer?
Yeah.
That's sad when you have no Mer.
Sounds like a disgusting sandwich. Anyway.
Also, wombat. I love it. Oh,
that's
awesome.
really random. I wish Neville was here for that. You know, wombats are from Australia. And on that bombshell, it's time to...
Joey's. Where's Joey? Is Joey with us? Or is he just talking to me? Just.
We're too many bombshells. It's like time to end. Because...
Oh, yeah, we have company.
Yeah. I'm about to let out a really huge... Never mind. Goodbye now! Click the little like button if you don't mind. Make it highlight blue. And subscribe if you haven't already. And check your subscription. Make sure you are still subscribed. Because for some reason, when I upload a video, subscribers disappear. As if people didn't know what they were getting into. No, just a glitch of the matrix. People I know love the channel lose their subscriptions all the time. So check your subscription and with the like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for your comments and questions. Good night. Happy weekend. Peace.
It's in my heart and baby down in my soul. You, baby, you can't take it no more. No, I know I'm walking out that door the way it treated me.